Every piece of fitness advice that you've ever been given is to always do more of something. More protein, more discipline, more steps. But when you're over 30, you've got enough going on already. Your partner, the kids, the dog, your career, and then that doesn't account for all the other shit that you've got going on. So when you add this stuff into the mix, it's just going to leave you frustrated and restarting every Monday. And I fell into that same trap, attempting to fast track my progress, leading me to yo-yo diet for 20 years plus, losing and regaining the same 20 kilos or so over and over again. It wasn't until I understood the things that I needed to stop doing that I actually started to see the change that I was chasing. So today I'm going to share with you 5 things that you can stop right now and instantly start to see an improvement in your fat loss results. Firstly, I want you to stop consuming so many liquid calories. You understand the calorie deficit, right? You need to move more, eat less, and you'll lose fat. You're told to track your calories and be mindful of what you're eating, so you do that to a T. But there's lots of things that you're drinking throughout the day that can easily wipe out that calorie deficit. It might be a fancy coffee or two, or a can of Coke or energy drink when that 3 p.m. slump hits, or even a glass of wine or a beer to unwind at the end of the working day. That can add up to hundreds of calories without even thinking about it. And I used to make the same mistake. If you're in a deficit of 300 to 500 calories, then that's that gone, just like that. So you need to be aware of how many calories are coming from your drinks. Alcohol is one that probably needs a little bit more of a deep dive, so comment down below if you want to see that video next. The second thing I want you to stop doing is obsessing over the calories that your smartwatch is telling you that you've burnt. I might be the odd one out here, but everyone now seems to have a Garmin or an Apple Watch because it doesn't count if it's not recorded, right? It's easy to become obsessed with the calorie burn, with staying in the fat burning zone, and believing that because your watch has said you've burnt 500, 600, 700 calories, that you can eat more. And the problem is that we're focusing on that instead of focusing on the quality and the intensity of our training. Multiple studies have shown that these watches aren't actually that accurate. And aside from that, exercise should be so much more than just burning calories. Not chasing an arbitrary calorie number, but lifting weights to get stronger, to improve your mobility, your balance, your stability, to improve your heart health and longevity. View training for everything that it gives you, not just the calories burnt. I used to drag myself out to run just to burn calories, and as soon as I changed that to going to the gym, training became more enjoyable, and I've actually stuck to it for years. The third thing I want you to stop is labeling foods as good and bad, cheats or treats, or sins, swips, whatever. That doesn't mean that you can never eat these so-called fattening foods, but by labeling them as cheats or bad, then you're making yourself feel guilty, you're making yourself feel like you've cheated on your diet. So if you want something that's higher in calories that's considered as fattening, cool, just account for it later. You can adjust your next meal, build it into tomorrow's calories, or even throughout the week. Once you stop labeling foods as good and bad and cheats and treats, then it just becomes food. The guilt and the negative connotation that comes with labeling things as bad ultimately leads to an emotional spiral. You go from having one piece of chocolate to I might as well have the whole bar to fuck it, I'll start again tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, the scale inevitably goes up, and then the catchphrase comes out, I'll start again on Monday. In that instance, one piece of chocolate has ruined your entire week. Instead, we need to reframe that from I've eaten more chocolate than I planned, I'll just have to adjust for it later. That way it becomes less emotional, it is just food, and by taking that approach, you're not only going to lose the weight, but it's going to help you keep it off. The fourth thing that you can stop doing is comparing yourself to others. I lost that 20 kg numerous times over a 20-year period, and it genuinely took me years and years and years to learn how to diet in a way that was going to help me keep that weight off. Because 90s diet culture and now social media has convinced us that fat loss should happen almost instantly. And the reality is that we gained that weight over months and months and months, if not years and years and years. So we're not going to be able to lose it in weeks. But we compare ourselves to others and influencers. How do they make it look so easy? What do I need to do? How much harder do I need to push? And it's thinking like that that's going to lead to burnout. Instead, again, we need to just reframe it. If someone else can do it, then I can too. And whether it takes 6 months, a year, or even 2, it's irrelevant. The only comparison that you should be making is the one to yesterday's version of you, because that is the only one that matters. The last thing is probably the biggest of all. You do really need to stop letting one bad day turn into a bad week. Live by this one rule: never 2 days in a row. Miss the gym? Fine, go tomorrow. Ordered a pizza? Cool, get back on track tomorrow. When I used to work a 9 to 5, I used to come home tired, having not eaten very well throughout the day, overeat, and then get up the next day, get on the scales and think, what's the point? And ultimately, I'd start again Monday. That's how one meal, one decision became an entire week lost. And if you're as sick as I was of telling yourself, I'll start again Monday, there's a link to a free guide within the description on how I changed everything and finally lost that 20 kg. For now, keep chipping away.